My name is Gary. I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict, and I'm dealing with the loss of my son, Brandon, who died from an accidental fentanyl overdose. And I've got, in another few days, in another, 10 or 15 days, I'm going to have 5 months clean and sober. And I lost my son about 2.5 weeks ago, a little more than 2.5 weeks ago. Yesterday was a really rough day for me. I wasn't taking a walk in my bad neighborhood or anything like that. I was just sad and dealing with grief and, accepting my son is gone. And that's really tough stuff, man, to walk through as a parent. I hope nobody ever has to go through that again, but or none of you guys have to go through it, I should say, but it's just one of those facts of life. Sometimes that's just in the cards for some of us parents to deal with. So I was thinking, and I was gonna let people know, how I live my life by making these videos. How to get sober was my original intent. How I got sober, basically. Everybody kind of does it it has their own path and does it in a little bit different way. I do mine through Alcoholics Anonymous, through prayer, and through working with others. And just trying to be helpful and useful to anybody throughout the day. And these videos are giving me strength, and your responses are giving me strength. And they help me go to bed sober every day. So I was thinking about acceptance and the first 3 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. So here, accepting the death, accepting my son's not going to be around anymore, accepting I have a problem with alcohol and drugs, and just accepting the world today on the way the world is. And it can be a pretty fucked up world, There's Bob. But there's in this book right here, Saves My Life, okay? Alcoholics Anonymous. I just want to read something from page 417 real quick, okay? Guys, don't start now. Go on. Go, Bo. Come on. They got to start every time I turn this thing on. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll get more professional. I promise, it's coming. Just can't afford it right now. Okay, it says, page 417 from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm just going to read one paragraph. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it's because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism, until I could accept the death of my son, I could not stay sober unless I accept life completely on life's terms. I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. Man, that's powerful. Because this is the only thing I've ever been able to buy into and live a happy, productive, normal life. When I veer away from this, I end up off the tracks, and I don't even want to go into how my life gets. I mean, it gets really shitty. Okay, so I'm going to stay close to AA. I'm going to stay close to this book. This is my Bible, right? Now, I also have to work the first three steps on this. And, I was talking about in another video, AA is so perfectly written, right? The 12 steps are beautifully and perfectly written. They can work on anything, okay? Here's the first 3 steps, okay? We admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable, okay? I admitted that. Now let me work it on my grief and the disturbance that I'm having with the loss of my son, right? We admitted we were powerless over the loss of my son and that my life is unmanageable. Okay, I admit that I'm powerless over the loss of my son and my life is unmanageable right now. I have no power over that. I have no power over my grief, my sadness, my fears, my tears, right? So if I can admit that I'm powerless over that stuff and that my life is unmanageable right now because of that stuff, right? Now I can move on to the second step. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. So I have to come to believe that there is something greater than me that can restore me to sanity. And I do believe, this is where it gets hard for the new guy that doesn't believe, right? This is where they have to start asking themselves or looking at other people living their life and going, wow, he's doing it. He's done it for 20 years. This guy's done it for 100 and whatever days. I don't know how many days I have, almost 5 months, right? And I'm doing it with my grief, Step 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So if I come to believe that a power greater than myself can restore me to sanity, because I'm walking around, when you lose your son, it's crippling. The pain is crippling. Yesterday it was out of control, but there are gifts that still happened yesterday. I had a buddy of mine yesterday. I'm hurting on cash right now, because I was out drinking and using for the last several years, and I'm trying to live my life correctly and make amends, like financial amends. My first financial amends are to my parents because they loaned me so much money to survive in the last year when I lost my business and stuff like that. So most of my paycheck, or a lot of my paycheck, goes to my parents. So, I have a small little apartment, and I take what I need, and I make my truck payment and my phone payment, and I give a chunk of money to my parents. And I called a buddy the other day, yesterday, good friend, and I said, I want, because my sons they're hurting too, they lost their brother. And right now I live in downtown Austin, Texas, and I called him up, and he just lost his son about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. Same kind of way, that I lost my son. And we're good friends. We got sober together years ago, and we remained sober and remained best friends even when I was fucked up. I said, hey, can you float me like $600 for a week or so? And I want to get my kids some tickets to Austin City Limits next week. Chili Peppers are coming to town. And, my kids, they're hurting, man. So I just want to bring some joy to their life, right? So can you float me some money to get these kids some Chili Peppers tickets, right? And I'll pay you back on Friday. And he goes, dude, of course, no problem, right? So he calls me back, and he goes, they're gonna send these tickets to your house. And I go, okay, I got you, man. And he goes, what do you mean you got me? And I go, I'll send you the money on Friday. And he goes, you're not sending me any money on Friday, right? You know, it's a program of we, right? And I can't stress this. I'm sorry. It's a program of we, okay? And we do this thing together. And that guy, he's my dear friend, and we've worked steps together. We've cried together. We've had so much laughter in our lives together. We've got, he's one of those friends I've known for 20 years, and we've just got this history and all these funny stories and sad stories. And we've walked this path of sobriety, and he's still sober, even when I fell off the wagon for 10 years. He never judged me. When I called him, he never said, are you sober? Because we're friends and we love each other. He knows I'm sober now, and I never lied to him about it, ever lied to him. Those are the beautiful gifts you find in the rooms of AA. I found him in the room of Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a guy that, I'm in the glass business. I remember I'd be hanging off of a building, right? Working on windows, or in a boom lift or something like that. And he would call, and I would stop what I'm doing and listen to him, because he was going through a breakup in a relationship, and he'd call on the other end of the phone crying and laughing, and we'd go through all that stuff together, because it's a we thing, and that's what we do for each other. So I'm going to end it here, guys, because it's 12 minutes, and these videos, I can talk forever. So that's what we do for each other. Remember, the 5-day God challenge, and these miracles will happen in your life. I promise you. Get on your knees for 5 days, a couple times a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, and just say, hey, God, help me believe in you. Reveal yourself to me. Ask him to help you stay sober if you're trying to get sober. Ask him to help you have the strength to walk into an Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous meeting and raise your hand. Say, hey, I'm having a problem with drugs or alcohol. And let me know how that goes for you. It's pretty cool, man. It's a very cool deal. So I'm going to keep posting. So I'm going to keep letting you know all these miracles that are happening in my life just by staying sober. Okay? Until then, talk to you guys soon.